Hi, everyone. It's me. Come on. Look closer. Did you say Bob Doyle? Then you would be correct. It's last minute again here. I really wanted to have all my ducks in a row, but you know what? I can't even find my ducks because I ran out of bread, right? And if you don't have bread, ducks don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm actually doing something. You know how I do things. Well, like looking for my show right now would be really nice to find. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the fan arena, although it should be there. One second, I'm just going to let you all get settled in your seats. The Bob Doyle Show, that's what I'm trying to click. Isn't it good that we're casual like this, that we can all just sort of hang out and just have a nice time today? By the way, Echo, what's the weather?
Currently, in Las Vegas, it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect high temperatures, with a high of 103 degrees and a low of 75 degrees.
That's right. You heard what she said. Oh, wrong link. Okay. Well, look, I so wanted to share something with you. So let's get in the same room all together and let's have a chat together. Let's see who's in the house. Well, I'm in the house. Let's see, you're on the internet somewhere. Kathy and Irma and Raven and Steve and Dina is quacking for the ducks in a row, and my stream is a flash, and Sarah is here as well. So we've got the gang here. Now, what we need is a bigger gang. How are we going to do that? How are we going to get a bigger gang of people in here? There's got to be a way. We got to rally. We got a grassroots effort, right? Because look, you guys show up here all the time for some reason. There must be something I'm contributing to your life. Or maybe you just like the picture. Or it's the music. Is it the music? Is that what brings you back time and time again? Either way, we want a bigger group. All right, hold on. I'm still trying to click the right buttons here. I look a little pale today. What's going on? All right, so hey, this could be an interesting show. Well, hopefully they all are. I can tell you this, I didn't start my day by spilling red beet juice all over the floor like I did yesterday. And by the way, that stain, almost undetectable. Almost undetectable. It'll get here. Okay, Dina is sharing now like a good person. Who else is a good person? Anyone? So guess what? You know, if you've listened for a while, you know that one of the things I've talked about is that I have neighbors over here, right outside the window, and that they, you know, smoke cigarettes, and when I would have the windows open before it got too hot to have the windows open, you know, it would just come right in here. But you know what I think? I think the smoking neighbors moved. I looked out there today, and all their furniture, their outdoor furniture, is gone. But I just heard their dogs barking like crazy yesterday, but maybe it was a moving van. I don't know. But see what I did? I manifested clear air. And so Jennifer says, my rant yesterday cracked me up. I gotta say, yesterday was probably one of my favorite shows ever because I just got to rant. And I think that the reason that I enjoyed it so much is because I feel so free to be me on this show, right? And this is kind of the theme today. Wait a minute. I have to do this because it's going to drive me crazy otherwise. I have to do it so that this doesn't just sit here forever. I've had all morning to do this, by the way. But I've had a really interesting morning. The past 15, 20 minutes or so have been very interesting. So I'm going to share some of this with you. But, you know, I talk a lot about expressing yourself fully and sharing all of who you are, you know, and that's and how it's so much more important to step into the being of who you are than to be focusing on the stuff that you're trying to attract and the money and all of that stuff, because all of that is really, if you're going to create a life that you absolutely love, right? You're never going to love it if you're not being who you really are. You're never going to, you can have all the stuff. You're not going to love your life if you're not being who you are. Okay? Because if you have to maintain all of that stuff, if you have to compromise your integrity, if you have to compromise your values, if you feel like you can't express a key part of who you are, then it's not going to bring you the fulfillment. Last night, and I wish that I thought I had the link copied in my Dawn. You can. I don't even know if Dawn's out there. Look at all the people in the room. We got Nydia and Charlotte, and Loretta and Catherine is here as well, and Irma. Awesome. Last night, I went to the premiere of a new film that I am a part of which I am a part, called The Evolution of Success, and I wanted to share the link. I think it actually gets released to the public in July, but we saw a screening last night. And I was in there with several of my friends and colleagues. Steve G. Jones. Kathy, are you out there? Cindy Ertman, Natalie Ledwell, Jack Canfield. Trying to think, and people I don't know. But it was, and look, I've been a part of several films since The Secret that are similar. Let's talk to the experts and do something. But I have to say that Matthew Toman, who did this film, really did a nice job. Really did a nice job. And he talks about 12 steps of, success in your life. And what's really interesting to me, and this is what I want to share, and this is why, okay, thanks, Dawn. If you can just do a search on Evolution of Success and maybe see if you can find that page and post a link to that Facebook page, that'd be awesome. So that people can watch the trailer or whatever. I wanted to be prepared with that. I thought I had the link in my clipboard. Did not. Paul is here as well. Okay, but there's also okay, well that's great. Is the trailer on that page? Because there's also a page here on Facebook. So let's see. So people who are really into the law of attraction can still be very negative because that's who they are. Look, here's the thing. I think if a person is really a negative person, that's not who they are. That's who they're being. If a person is a negative person, it means they are choosing to interpret things in a way that makes them feel bad. That's not our true nature. I absolutely don't think. But I totally know that there are plenty of negative people who are into the law of attraction. I don't know what kind of results they're getting. I don't know if their life is happy. But this is kind of what I talk about on an ongoing basis with the people who are kind of habitual law of attraction fanatics or whatever, who aren't getting results. They're still fighting for their limitations. They're still pointing out there and going, look what's happening to me, right? And I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm committed to doing this law of attraction thing. But really, I really think that down deep, they are scared of success. They're scared of what life might be if they were happy, because maybe they haven't had that for a while. Because they haven't fully defined the big picture of who are they as a happy person. Because look, if a negative person would just take the time to see themselves as a positive person, as a happy person, as a connected and loving person, and see and just imagine the results in their life, what would be as the result of that, they might be a little more willing to start doing the work to let go of the negativity. So I really don't think that there's anybody on the planet who is born to be a negative person. Have they been programmed that way? Are they wired that way? Absolutely. That's all over the place, right? And so much of the work that we do in the personal development world is to help you rewire, right? If you're an unhappy person, so that you can choose to be a happier person. Irma says she thinks most people are scared of everything. Okay, so here we got the Facebook page going here. Obviously can't, well, oh, there's a big blue butterfly. And yes, that's the one that we saw you filming in the hotel room last year. And no, this was going to be a couple of years ago, I think. Here's why I don't really know where this is going to go with me. Because I have to tell you, I'm going to be really, really super raw and real. Okay? Are you ready? So I went to the premiere last night and I watched it, and of course I watched myself, and I really didn't think that I was going to be critical of myself or get in my head about myself. I was like, whatever. Now I did look at it and go, okay, well, my hair, I needed a haircut, because I still had the curly things back there, right? But the thing I noticed about myself is that I felt like I was coming across as kind of intense or whatever, as opposed to who I am now, which I feel like I smile a lot more in just my everyday thing. Like yesterday was a bunch of ranting, but I feel like I was smiling the whole time. I just generally have a more of a propensity to smile. So let me tell you what was happening when we filmed that. Right, I think that was right after I quit drinking. Okay, so that was a major time of transition in my life because giving up alcohol was part of a huge sort of redefining who I am and what's important, what my values are, and who I want to be, right? And this was also about the time that I started doing the Bob Doyle show on a regular basis. And in the film, I'm talking about, so as I'm watching it, I can tell, wow, I'm kind of in it right there. You know, I'm kind of in it. You can tell I'm in a process. And I had just had some lights come on, and you know, and I felt a little self-conscious about it, you know, because I'm up there with Jack Canfield and all these other people, and then it comes to me, and I'm kind of where I was, and I was sort of feeling into what that was. So that's the one thing. So now after it ended, I had a handful of people come up to me and say really nice things and all of that about how my contribution and all of that. And I was noticing that I don't want to say devaluing their opinion, but I was already making up stuff. Like there was a couple of times when I was speechless, like I didn't know how to respond. I couldn't even immediately say thank you because I was all in my head about where I was in it, and also that, you know, well, because look, honestly, I come up here, I do this stuff every week. I have a constant theme. There's things I repeat, obviously. And so for me, some of it lost some of the edge or whatever because I've just been doing it so long. But as people were telling me this, I'm realizing, well, they're not watching me every day. Some of these people may have been seeing me for the first time, or they only saw me in The Secret or whatever. And just because I've been saying this stuff a long, long time doesn't mean that it doesn't have impact on them. Right? So I was having to, and honestly, guys, I thought I was kind of past this. Right? But this experience last night gave me the opportunity to go, wow, there's still areas where I am devaluing myself, devaluing my contribution. Even though, you know, I have a lot of confidence. I do. You know, and when I talk about the law of attraction, I have a tremendous amount of confidence, and I hope that comes through. And I know from coaching people that I absolutely have results with people, right? But that doesn't mean that I still can't do a little bit more work on myself and increase my own self-value, right? And I think that, and what this really showed, so I was actually, the director of this film sent me a voice message this morning and asked, you know, what did I think? Is there anything I would want to change? And I basically reflected back kind of what I just said to you. You know, boy, I wish I'd gotten a haircut, right? And I felt like that I was in it. I felt like I could tell that I was in it. And he came back with a voice message that said, in essence, that was the beauty of it. And I got to tell you, I had a surprisingly large emotional response. I came out of nowhere, and 10 minutes before this show, my eyes are red and swollen because I had a break. Just being honest. And all of this stuff about my value came crashing in on me. And at the same time, at the very same time, I'm having a conversation with Crystal, who I haven't seen her comment yet, but she might have. You know, you've seen her in the room a few times. And she's basically telling me the same thing in different words about a different thing. And before that even happened, I was going to come in here and talk about valuing ourselves anyway, because of my experience with the film. But I didn't have all the emotion around it when I first came up with the idea. It was like, wow, I had this experience and I realized I've still got that. I'm going to talk about that because I think a ton of people do that. A ton of people don't value who they are. They don't value their contribution. They take it for granted because it's who they are, it's who they've been their whole life. It's their natural gift, and so they devalue it. and they push away the positive responses, and their ego wants to tell them, oh, they don't know, or whatever. How many of you do that? How many of you suspect that maybe you don't value yourself as much as you could? And of course, the danger, as Crystal was being very direct about, is that if you do that too much, then eventually others will start to join you in the devaluing of yourself, right? I mean, like I said, I have probably just, a lot of confidence in various aspects of how I do things. I don't really have a problem with that. But I think there was something about, there's a difference between knowing that I can help someone, that I can absolutely facilitate transformation. I've been doing it for years. I mean, I've got plenty of evidence that I'm, quote unquote, good at what I do, right? And that I can contribute value. But clearly, somewhere deep in there, there's still something that questions that. And I think that what happened when Matthew came back with that message and I had this huge emotional response is that just a ton of stuff started coming in at me about how I've been doing that, right? Second guessing myself, just not putting enough value on all kinds of things. It could be my music contribute, ukulele playing, it doesn't matter. And it just hit me like a freaking ton of bricks. And so I know I'm not the only one, right? I mean, you guys, I know this because I coach people who don't value themselves all the time. And I'm sure that most of us don't really get how awesome we are. Because we're just being us, and we've got all of our conversations in our head about, what other people have said about their perception of your value. And look, I know that I've got old programs running because of what some people have said about me. I don't want to mention names or situations, but they get in there, and you make that sort of true. And then what happens is when you get genuine feedback from someone about how you have contributed to them, you hear somebody else's voice, and it takes over, and you are in some way, wanting to rationalize limiting that or devaluing their response. And so it really, like when the first person last night turned around and said something like, wow, that was, because I was sitting there all in my head about, oh, I was really in it, I don't know, whatever, did that really, I couldn't even immediately say thank you. Now, normally that is not a problem. Normally I can very graciously say thank you very much. But the fact that I was stunned for a minute, and I was just kind of speechless. Could we please turn down my devices so they don't keep going blink? Now, there's no we here to do that, so it's all up to me, so it's not going to happen. Okay, so I am seeing all these comments, and I don't really know the context. Having the past wonderfully timed conversation for you today. Good, Paul. I'm glad. See, obviously, this is all for you. Anybody else? Shara says, no, I don't, but I don't know what she's referring to. I don't think that I've really noticed the difference between the two. I don't know what that means either. This is crazy. I'm glad you're commenting on the difference between, the confidence between confidence and value. Okay, I got it. See, whew, thank goodness. Just scroll back a little and it all becomes clear. That's my motto. I'm going to put that on a shirt and let people ask me questions all day. What does that mean? Just scroll back a little and it all becomes clear. All right, I'm not even going to try to make that deep. Yeah, well, there is a difference, because I do have a boatload of confidence because I know my stuff, and that may sound egotistical or whatever, but look, I've been doing this 15 years, and I have lots of evidence that I know what I'm talking about and can help people and so on. That's why I offer private coaching, which isn't coming up here. And I really was going to talk a lot more about private coaching today, but this came up. So there is a difference between I know that I can do and Dawn, you're a perfect example. I know you have confidence in the things that you do. I know that because Dawn, you're my assistant. I know you're really good at what you do, and I know you're good at what you do. But do you value it? From a business point of view, can you put a fair price tag on it? Right? So there's a huge difference between having confidence in something and then allowing yourself to receive the value of it or whatever, or know that you have value, I think. Irma says, you're inspiring for those of us who are working hard on being confident. I have to fake it most of the time, and sometimes I'm shocked. And you know what? I'm definitely gonna say, and Crystal used these exact words with me this morning: fake it until you make it, or whatever, until you whatever. But I know that when, like, the Bob Doyle show started, I was petrified and all of that, and I just started faking confidence. I've talked about this before. You know, how I just started going, like, no matter what happens, I got this, this show's going to be great, everyone's going to do down in history. You know, I made up all this stuff about how it's just going to be a phenomenon. And I'm going to continue to do that, by the way, because one day you'll see. Right? And that's kind of a faking it, but I'll tell you for sure, it has created wiring where I can come on, and even though I know I might have a complete meltdown technically, I'm still really confident. You know, now, the value of this show, I don't know. Now, the law of attraction stuff is a little different because I know, well, I haven't answered any questions today. And I've been answering less and less questions with these broadcasts lately. It's more just my Law of Attraction State of the Union address that I do weekly. And I think it's because, if you've been watching, I know that answering people's questions, it can be helpful and it can scratch an itch for people, but that's not what this is about. You know, I want people to tap into their own sense of value and who they're being, and that's why I keep talking about being. And so when I was confronted with that today, like, for myself, and going, you know, after all of this time, and, you know, people are asking me to be in movies for a reason, right? They're not just being nice. They clearly think that I've got something to contribute, and I clearly do, right? And so do you. And we cannot go through our lives rationalizing how we're not valuable and expect to be happy. Expect to be abundant. Expect for people to attract situations and circumstances that are going to, you know, give us whatever it is that we want in our lives. Because, like I said, you can't, from a law of attraction point of view, you can't take yourself off the grid. You can't hide from the universe. You can be as confident and bold outside as you want to, and even affect change. But your quality of life and the things that you ultimately attract that are important to you are going to depend on that inner conversation about yourself, the invisible stuff, the vibration. If you don't value yourself fully, then you're not going to have the full potential of the richness of the experience of your life. You know, and I all I can say is that, you know, 10 minutes before the show, when I had that experience, it was a shake up, wake up for me, right? And it's something that I will, you know, be in meditation about today and so on. It was a gift. It was a huge gift, and it felt like that. You know, I didn't expect when I sent that voice message back to Matthew and said, well, you know, I could tell I was really in it and all that, that when he came back and said that was, in essence, that was the juice. That was what made it so powerful. That authentic, showing up in an authentic way is what, and he gave me feedback about how people around him responded to certain things that I said. You know, but I had no idea that when he came back and said that I was going to be so heavily impacted, right? But I was. And so, if there is anything I can wake up and shake up in you today, it is about looking, if you're struggling financially or otherwise or whatever, where are you in this conversation, this self-conversation about your value? Now, one of the things I know I can do is help people to find their value, to acknowledge their awesomeness, and to reflect that back to them. And you know what? A lot of people can. A lot of people can see things in you that you don't see. You know, and I think, honestly, one of the things that makes the coaching relationship valuable is because when you invest in a coach and then they tell you that, you're invested in listening, right? Your family, your friends can tell you how awesome you are, and you're blah, 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 blah. But when you pay somebody, and then you know, someone who's skilled and can show you not just that you are awesome, but why you are. But even more so, like, what is it not just costing you by not owning your awesomeness? Not just that. What is it costing the planet when you don't own your awesomeness? When you don't own your value? Because if you don't, you won't play it out full, and you're cheating everybody that is potentially going to be impacted positively by you being you fully. And so what one of the things that came to me was that, I have been, certainly since I started doing the show, this show has been the best therapy that Bob Doyle could ever receive, right? Because I just get to play and be me and try things. And I have magically, I don't know how this happened, because I certainly wasn't like this before, but magically let go of needing for people to love it, or whatever. Even the fact that, the number of viewers has stayed so consistent. I mean, I might, if the reverb goes wrong on a Monday show, I might beat myself up a little over that. But it's really just a lesson learned. Of course I wish it would go better. Of course. But it doesn't stop me from doing the show the next day and trying it again and trying it again and trying it again. Because this show and all of its silliness is a critical part of my self-expression. I have to do it. And yes, I want it to be bigger. Yes, I want to do more. And one of the things I'm realizing, one of the big, I think part of the emotion today was realizing, okay, you want it to be bigger. What else can you be doing? Who are you not talking to? What action are you not taking, Bob? You've been doing the Facebook thing every day, and you've been blah, 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 asking people to share, and like, okay, you probably got to do more. You probably got to pick up the phone and call somebody. Right? That isn't Facebook. If I want to play a bigger game, either as a speaker, as a law of attraction speaker, or entertainer in the Bob Doyle show world, I got to do. It's time to step up the action. And so, this sort of past 12 hours or whatever, I'm realizing, and of course, watching the movie, I'm learning from all of these other people, these friends of mine with all kinds of degrees of success. I'm being reminded, I'm learning, and I'm seeing myself. I'm going, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I used to do that. I'm not doing that anymore. So look, when this film comes out, I really, really urge you to see it. I think it is among the better ones like it out there, because it's practical. The Secret was awesome for all the reasons that it was, but it had sort of a lot of people interpreted it with this sort of magical kind of, I can just energetic magic wand genie thing, right? So that's not as accessible to everybody. This one is accessible to everybody. The law of attraction is certainly mentioned, but it's not a big woo-woo thing, and it's not the primary focus of the thing. I'm not even sure how much I talk about the law of attraction in there, even though they say, Bob Doyle, law of attraction teacher. I may want them to put something else there. I don't know. All right, what's happening here? We got people complimenting each other. You're awesome too, Dawn. Dina, you're awesome. Oh, I love this. Okay, this is great. We got a love fest going on. We got awesome fest. Oh, that's a trademark thing, I think. Tracy's here. Oh, boy, gotta push these buttons correctly. Bing. And Steve, a freaking phenom. Right? So everybody value themselves today. Or at least notice where you're not. Like when it shows up, jot it down or something. There are so many. I wish I could just recount the movie for you. and say, do this, 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 and this, because I just learned it, or was reminded of it in this movie last night. But I'm not going to do that. You have to wait. But look, a lot of it I talk about anyway. A lot of it I could implement better on a personal level, and I will. Right? So what do we got? Let me just see if I can just catch up. Shara says it's a terrible thing to say, but most people never see a person's value until they're dead. Sometimes that's true. Artists, musicians, and things like that. But what movie are you talking about? Joe, it's called The Evolution of Success. It premiered last night here in Vegas, but it's not released to the public yet. I think I read that it would be July. I think this is like, they do the initial screening. He's going to get feedback, maybe do some edits here and there, that kind of thing, right? I really like the music in it, too. But that's, I'm a music person. All right, now why is Sarah crying? Oh, well, you can't see it, but here. Sarah has burst into tears. There's not a dry eye in her house. She's using the cat as a Kleenex right now. Irma says you can't see any comments. Why not? Okay, so I don't think I answered one law of attraction question, and I'm a minute late. Seriously, this went by faster than any other thing I have ever done. I feel like I've just been talking for 30 seconds. This isn't at all what I was expecting to do, an hour ago. At all, because I really do want you guys to investigate coaching. So you can go to this thing and watch the video and all that, and I'll just have to address this later because I felt like I had a more important message today. Because you know what? Obviously, if you don't value yourself fully, or if you don't at least value the vision that you might have for yourself, why would you invest in coaching? If you truly don't believe you can do something, you might not take that step. But look, I'm going to tell you that if this is an issue for you, that's a reason to get coaching. Right? But I won't harp on the coaching thing right now. Anyway, well, thanks guys for hanging with me and listening, and I hope you got some value out of this. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Normally Thursday's VR Thursday. I have a full afternoon. I don't know if it's going to happen again. That'd be 2 weeks in a row that I don't do VR Thursday, but I'm going to let myself off the hook if it doesn't happen. We'll hang out together and we'll have a good time anyway, because we always do, right? Always. All right, I will see you guys then or whenever.